Good morning, Magic. I'm Gavin Verhey from Magic the Gathering, and today I want to talk with you about how Magic cards get made. While you see 200 or 300 cards at the end of the process, for us, we might make up to 2,000 before the set is finished. During Limited, we'll change a bunch of cards, and that'll make designs different. We might add or remove entire mechanics, which will throw tons of designs out the window. We might change things around for Constructed, and add or remove rares, and make a lot of differences. And during any given assignment we'll do, we might make 30, 40, 50 cards, and 1 or 2 might make it into the set, and who knows if those will even stick. A lot can change. But today I want to talk to you about one card that I made in Ikoria that's very near and dear to my heart and kind of where it came from, and that's Lavabrink Venturer. So where does Lavabrink Venturer's story begin? Well, it all begins with an assignment from the lead set designer for Ikoria, Dave Humphreys. You see, over the course of a set's design, many times the lead designer will come to the team and say, hey, we need you to make cards for X. We're missing limited commons. Can you go and make some cards for this archetype? We need some powerful constructed rares. Can you target anything here? But this time was a little bit different. We were looking at what Dave was calling wild rares. These were things that made your eyes pop. Like, huh? This card does what again? They didn't have to be strong, they just had to be really unusual or different or something that was really splashy. And he assigned us all to make a bunch of them, bring them back to the team, and then would talk about them as a group and see which ones we wanted to try out in the set. So I fired up my laptop, got open my notepad, and started writing down ideas. And I had quite a few, and you know what, actually, I still have that whole document around, so let's take a look through a few of them. So the first thing you'll notice is that these are really just cards written into a text document. And this is how all cards begin. And this first one is relatively simple, but really interesting to build around, which is a single green mana sorcery that lets everyone put all their lands from their hand on the battlefield, and you have to end your turn. So they get first crack with all the mana, but maybe you could break the symmetry somehow. So this next one is kind of a wonky white enchantment. It's a single white mana, and it basically says in 3 turns you get to swap your life total with another player. So they get a 3-turn head start, and maybe you can do some things to reduce your life total in the meantime, or maybe they take some damage that they shouldn't otherwise, hoping that you can't kill them, or you play it against a burn deck, and they try and race you in those 3 turns. But I don't think this card is actually really that fun to play when you think about it. It's kind of just, well, I know you're going to swap in 3 turns, so maybe I don't play my cards or things like that. So while there's some interesting choices you could make, this card didn't make it through, and it's kind of a weak design, I would say, frankly. But it is certainly eye-popping. It gets you thinking about what you can do with the possibilities. The next one up is one that doesn't really work, but my idea here was, well, maybe we could push the boundaries of what works. This is a creature that has mutate. It's a small creature, though, so you mutate it underneath perhaps one of your creatures instead of over your creature. And then when it dies, it comes back mutating something else. So it then mutates on one of your opponent's creatures, and it just keeps passing back and forth. But ultimately, we decided, hey, let's focus on making the mutate cards awesome instead of just this one weird downside card. Okay, this next one is really wild. This is a Planeswalker that when you play it, you become the Planeswalker. Now, if you think you've seen this one somewhere before, this one actually did kind of make it to print. I was really charmed with this idea, and actually a lot of people on the team were really charmed by this idea too. So, well, it didn't end up making it into the set, but I did put it in a Mystery Booster. I kept it in my back of my head, and it made it as a Mystery Booster playtest card with a few tweaks, but on the whole, I'm really glad we have to use this fun design somewhere. And will it ever show up in normal Magic? Who knows? Now, this next card actually did get put into the set and get played for a while, and that's Joiner Master. It's a 1/1 that has all the ability of all of your lands. It lets you do some pretty cool stuff by, say, letting you double activate your Maze of Ith or other kinds of things. But ultimately, it didn't end up making the final set, so it got cut. But it did kind of make it to print in Manascape Refractor. The idea was so memorable and interesting that we put it on an artifact and put it into C20, which was a cool way to still let this design live on. But now onto the main attraction, what was originally called Numbered Paladin. Sound familiar? Well, we all know that now as Lavabrink Venturer. So we liked it well enough, and we put it into the set. Now, it was a little bit different when we put it in. It was 2, a white, and a white for a 4/4 creature, so a bit bigger. But after playing it, we decided 3 mana was the right spot. 1 white mana was great because it was very splashable, and we moved it down to that. It turned out to be really interesting that you would choose different thing in different games. It was a fun little added piece to the odd and even companion, so it made a little parallel there, and it was just super fun to play. So we made it all the way through, almost entirely unchanged, which is very rare for a card. In fact, the last card I can think of that I made for a set I wasn't leading that made it all the way through like that was Monastery Mentor, which is also a 2 and a white rare creature. So I guess I should make more white rare creatures. That's the moral of this story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very brief look at how Lavabrink Venturer got made. If you have any feedback on this episode, I would love to hear it. Please reply or feel free to hit me up on social media and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, good luck, have fun, and may always choose just the odd or even thing for your situation. You got this.